welcome to the Astro Imaging Journey channel. Please enjoy the episode.
Hello and welcome back to my Astro Imaging Journey channel. And in this part of the series, we're going to begin our integration process, our pre-processing workflow. And the first part of this, we discussed last part, the process icon set. I already have it loaded up here. As you can see, the first thing I would want to do, master dark. I've already created my master darks, so we won't include that here. The nice thing about your darks and flats is you should update them periodically. Different people have different schools of thought. Some people say you should be taking darks and flats after every imaging session. Some say every couple of weeks. Some say once a year. One of the individuals I mentioned in the intro, Ron Belcher, he only does his darks and his calibration frames once a year. So that's entirely up to you what you want to do. Personally, I like to do my darks about once every 3 to 6 months, and then my flats about every 3 to 6 months as well, unless I notice something. So if I go out and clean the dust off my sensor, I retake my flats. If I'm processing my data and something looks a little bit off and I think I see a new dust mote, go clean my sensor and take new flats, or just take new flats. Either way, unless something really changes, you really shouldn't need to update your calibration frames, your darks, your biases, your dark flats, your flats, whatever you use, unless there's a significant change or a certain period of time. That's my recommendation. That's the way I go by it. Again, do what you want to do. So for this part, we're going to start with our light calibration. So we're just going to go ahead and double click on that process icon. And we're just going to go ahead and we're going to clear this out. Now you're going to notice I have this set up. It's already set up for blue, which is a 300 second or 5-minute exposure. Those are our broader band filters. So there's a 5 minutes. So I just want to make sure we are on the blue flat, 300 second master dark, and we're going to output to the blue directory. And what I have here, let me open this up. You can see I have on my hard drive an Astro Imaging working directory. Underneath there, I have my calibration, which is where my frames will be. I have them under the current. There's my darks, my flats, so you can see, well, won't see it here. I'll pull that up in a second. You go back into here, so batch pre-processing, and we've got calibrated. That's the process we're working on right now, is calibration. So that's the directory I'm going to want to use, and then I have one directory for every filter. So we're going to select blue, select the folder, and then for our darks, let's go back into that pre-processing directory. Oh, not that one, our calibration directory. Current, and you can see I've got master darks for half a minute, 1 minute, 2 minute, 5 minute, 10 minute, and 20 minute. And in our flats, all of my filters are in there. I've already created all of those master flats. So I'm just going to go ahead and cancel since this is already set for 5 minutes and our master flat is set to blue. The rest of these settings on here pretty much are defaults, if I remember correctly, with the exception of the enable CFA. I believe that one was check marked during default, so I'm unchecking that. We do not have a color filter array. This is not a one-shot color, so we're going to leave that unchecked. And now we're going to add our files. You can see over here, these are on my NAS. If we think way back, I was talking about different storage options and we were testing the different hard drives. Well, let me get down here to targets. I mentioned that I did have the NAS, but reading and writing from the NAS is rather slow, but it offers me the best storage. So I put all of my files on the NAS. Once I have a target complete, I put it up here under the targets with focal reducer, which camera I was using, is it completed or is it working. So this would be after I've blinked and done all of the stuff from the night session. And then once I have the target number of frames completed, I will move that target from the working into this completed pre-processing directory. So we're going to just go into our C19. They're all right here. There's my blue, there's my green, H alpha, H beta. So we're going to work with the blues. Highlight all of those. And this is the first time we're going to be reading these files and calibrating them. I'm just going to leave them on the NAS because by the time I would copy them to the local drive so that they would be faster, it's got to read them anyway. So let's just go ahead, read them from the NAS, dump them into memory, and then write them to my local hard drive, which is my output directory here. And then I'm working from my local hard drive anyways. So the NAS gives me the most option for storage, multi-terabytes worth of storage. So I don't have to worry about constantly cleaning my hard drive to make space to be able to do the processing. So we'll just read it from the NAS and then we'll work on the local hard drive going forward. So now that all of that is set, we're just going to go ahead, click this Apply Global button down here, the highlighted circle. We'll just click on that. Our process console pops open and we will be back when this completes. Alright, that has completed. If we come over, I always like to just look and make sure that we had 36. All of them succeeded, none of them failed, and none were skipped. So, everything is good there. Now, we have more filters, so I'm going to rinse and repeat, but I'm going to show you the process of that real quick on the first one, and then we'll close this out. So what I would do now, everything would be the same, because next I'm going to move to the green, so I'm going to clear this out, go back to Add Files. I'm already in that directory. I'm going to come down here to green. I want to select all of my green, and when I do that, I highlighted the first one, hold the Shift key, and then click on the bottom, and that selects all of my green. Click Open, And then next thing I want to do is come down here and change this to green. Now there's two ways of doing it. The first way is to come in here and navigate, and that can be a problem, and I'll show you why. So if I come back up here to working, calibration, oh, this was my output directory, excuse me. Output directory, batch pre-processing, calibrated, green, okay. Then we come down here to master dark, that's going to be the same, but we need a different master flat because this one is set for blue. So if I open this up, you can see it takes me down to my navs. Now I come up here, master imaging, working, calibration, and then we'll go into current. I'll go to flats, and we're going to want green. Now at this point I would apply global, okay? However, I want to show you why doing it that way causes a little bit of a headache, because now if I clear this out, let's say I ran this, now I want to move on to my red. I want to add my files. I'm in my calibration folder. Now I've got to go back to my navs, pull up my reds, and so on and so forth. So I got to come back over here, go into my targets, go into there, go into there, go into there, pre-processing, C19, and now select them. And let's just go ahead and select the red. I'll do the green in a minute. So we'll select the red, open, and now I need to select my red folder, and I find it, instead of clicking here and navigating, I have them already made. I just type in, I know it's red with a capital R because all of my filter directories and file names all have the same. So red with a capital R, green with a capital G. And then I'll just come down here and I will change this to red as well. And then I should be good. And that is a little bit easier than having to jump around. That is one of the few complaints I have about PixInsight, is that the directory selection or file selection are not independent from each other. When you open this here and change this here, that starting directory is now up here. And it would be nice if somehow they could make these different selections independent of each other, and this remembers where we are at, and we start there, so we only have to go up one and down one rather than through a whole nother directory structure. That would be one minor complaint I would have with PixInsight, but that's perfectly fine. So we're going to go ahead and run it, and we'll be back when this completes. Okay, the reds have completed, so let's come over here, and 36 succeeded, 0 failed, 0 skipped. Excellent. So now we're going to go revisit the greens, since we didn't actually do those. Clear them out, clear out the reds. Now we're going to add the greens again. Select the first one, scroll down, find the bottom one, hold the shift key, left click, selects all the greens, and we'll click open. And then to make things easier, I just type in green there, click and or replace red with green here, and that is much easier. So that's my tooltip to you is if you can keep things consistent between your directory structure, your file names. It makes it a little bit easier, in my opinion, to be able to just do these quick little edits as opposed to having to navigate all over the place. Again, whatever workflow you're using, if you're more comfortable selecting the directories with the mouse and the pop-up, the selection tool, by all means, do it if that's easier for you. I have found for me it's easier to just keep everything identical and then just put the names in manually. Yes, occasionally I will mess up. So let's say right here, let's say I did a single E, so it's gren instead of green. And let's see what happens. And right there, it fails. It could not find the gren file, and it aborted the process. So it's pretty quick and easy to determine that I had a typo right there, because that error will tell me it could not find that file. And then, well, what's the only thing I changed? I changed the green to gren. Oops, my fault. So this makes it easier for me. So I'm going to rock and roll, get the rest of my filters set. The only difference being in this whole process is when I get to, let's scroll down here, when I get to my narrow band, my H alpha, my H beta, O3, S2, those are all 10-minute subs. You can see in the file name 600 seconds. So when I get to the first one, which will be hydrogen alpha, I will want to change this to 600 seconds, in addition to changing this to H alpha and this to H alpha. And then all the subsequent narrowband filters, I will be able to keep this as 600 seconds. So I've already done the blue and the red. Now I'm going to do the green, then I'll do the luminance, then I'll switch over and do my narrowband. So I'm going to rock and roll. I'm going to finish this up and I'll move on to the next part. So with that, I want to say thanks everybody for watching. Hope you found this informative. Please stick around for the outro. As always, clear skies. Have a good one.
Thank you for watching yet another video from the Astrometry Journey channel. Really appreciate your viewership. In our upper right, we have the latest video we've uploaded. In our lower right, we have what YouTube might think you would enjoy. And in the lower left is our subscription button. Please like this video, subscribe if you so choose. As always, clear skies, have a good one, and remember Duke.